All right, let's talk about Saturday's main event at Bellator 217 in Dublin, Ireland. That's right, they're back in Dublin, Ireland. And guess what? They got an Irish kid headlining, James Gallagher. He will be taking on Steve Graham. Now, Paramount and DAZN got you covered. And as always, MMAjunkie has got you covered for the prelims. But let's talk about this main event where there's no odds as of this moment. Hard to imagine that the 7-1 Gallagher won't be favored over the 5-3 Graham. Gallagher did take a loss in his last fight. He had a nice little win streak going, a lot of promise. But guess what? That's why these fighters, I think that's what makes them, a lot of them, dig deep and just find themselves onto a new 7-fight win streak or whatever. So Gallagher might even be more dangerous now, especially because he was one of those outspoken guys who I guess maybe felt at that time he just couldn't be beat. And he did get Ricky Bandejas, if I'm not mistaken, put him out. So we'll see how he digs deep from that loss and what he can do against Steve Graham. Now, Steve Graham he started off 1-3 in his career. He turned it around. He's won 4 straight. So he's kind of on the opposite end. He's streaking while Gallagher's taking his first loss. We'll see how he comes back from that. But if you're going to do it, you can do it in the confines of being kind of like the local favorite. You know what I mean? I think that's important. And I think he's with a team that can ground him. And so I think this fight, I shouldn't just jump and say I think it'll be disputed on the ground, because most of their strengths seem to be on the ground. Hell, just this past week at Bellator 216, we were expecting 2 guys in the main event to give us, a striking affair, and that didn't happen with Daly and MVP. So expect the unexpected, but either way, I still think Gallagher can get the submission over Steve Graham. It's going to take a little bit of work. So it's either going to be a late stoppage or a decision by James Gallagher. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I have Gallagher in this one as well, but I don't think it's going to be easy. If you look at Stephen Graham's body of work, the level of opponents, the experience, it's just not, you can't match it to what Gallagher has. That's in the cage, but in the training room, it's right up there. I mean, you have to get better when you're training with the beast that he's training with. So I think it'll be a little bit more of a difficult matchup. Who knows what state of mind Gallagher's in. He did suffer a pretty bad loss the last time around, so let's see if he could put it back together. But I think all that's going to take time. So I think this fight's going to play out over maybe, I could see the stoppage happening in round 3. But I really think it's going to be a fun matchup up until then. But I do have Gallagher winning. Right,
and luckily Gallagher hasn't fought in 6 months or so, and I like that. When there's a turnaround, I like at least half of a year off when it's something, of a brutal finish like he experienced. So we'll see. It's going to be a great fight. Keep it locked on MMAjunkie.com. We got you covered for Bellator 217. And remember, Paramount and DAZN got you covered on Saturday.